Isn't this interesting time to be in the crypto realm? The way we see things happening in the market is interesting because right now you understand, okay, this is true, but they decided to delist XRP, the coin base, and here goes another lot of assets. And that's from Binance actually, right? They're actually even taking on a lot of fundamental projects because of what the SEC is doing. Now, remember, Coinbase took a wrong decision delisting XRP, and now Nasdaq takes a right decision delisting Coinbase. So the full circle happens. Now, there is a huge possibility this can be a fake news, but if it is true, that's something to look at. And as we go through one of these and each of these news narratives and how things are playing out, it really becomes interesting because some of this is really concerning. Right? If you can only withdraw $1,000 of your own hard-earned money, which you put in their bank, now you need something different. And at that time, when this guy comes out and say most of these cryptos are scam, I'm like, okay, this is about to go higher. And you observe Russia is allowing crypto trading service, which is great. And you also know that just last month, China is going on and allowing the crypto. So now China is opening up for crypto. Russia is opening up for crypto. You are watching the Jim Cramer coming out saying, okay, this is about to blow off. But the positive news is he's talking about the downside, and usually it happens to the upside. But for us, for who are here in the market, yeah, last 28 days has not been the best. But what do you think is happening with all of these assets? XRP last 10 days, it's in the same range. Ether last 48 days, it's been in the same range. What do you think is going to happen just after this? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10 person of this crypto realm. Now, while I start doing this, I would actually say, okay, look at this. This coin is actually up significantly for the day and for the week. And I would actually inform you guys, okay, while you look at the chart, you would see like, okay, it is bouncing off from a support. It all looks good. It's range bound. But before you decide whether you should jump in or not, I would urge you to look at the big picture. This is where you are right now. There is a ton of risk inside that. I mean, you actually go in, you actually see this. This is actually insolvent. So the level of risk which you are taking on there is super high. So you need to understand which assets you choose. You need to understand whether that asset is showing you a positive movement or it's showing you don't even touch that, right? That's important. And that's why we go through all of these assets as much as possible in detail, giving you guys the right thought process. So let's actually be true to ourselves, right? There's XRP on a daily. Yes, this doesn't give us a clear picture. That's a lot of noise in the market. But now you take a step back and you observe the fact that, okay, the market is showing something similar to what we have seen in different pairs. Fine. So we are waiting here. We are watching the XRP USD pair on a 3-day chart. It shows us, yes, there was a formation which was a corrective signal, and it did correct lower a little bit. It was volatile, and as of now you don't have a decision in the market showing, yeah, you're going up. Right now you're range bound. This particular bearish candle is still alive. It's still in that range. The price is trading in between. And now this 3-day chart and the pattern which you're observing here, you go on to the daily chart of XRP BTC and you see, okay, something similar has happened here, right? It's still in the range. So the daily has been closed there. You're still in the range here. So now it all goes back into the understanding of where we are, because one of the most important things you have to understand is if this is the rounded bottom happening in XRP BTC, that means XRP is standing on top of a lot of these coins. Not a lot of these altcoins are actually doing fine, whereas XRP against Bitcoin is showing you it is preparing for something big. So we are all waiting to see how things evolve for sure, and we all understand the fact that this is happening at the bottom, and that's important at the bottom because look at where the RSI is going. It's not at the bottom, it's above 50, it's close to 58. And all these times, when you actually reach that level, just go here, take a horizontal line and plot it at that level where you see these massive blow off start, right? It happens just above that 60, 61 level. When the RSI is at that point, you really start to see a ton of price action in XRP Bitcoin pair, which if you actually go into XRP USD pair will also stand as truth, right? Because when you actually go into the XRP USD pair and zoom out to see the historical price fluctuation and look at like when the price was blowing off from the bottom, where was the RSI? And I believe this is one of the important points to see like what amount of strength is required for the market to push this asset to the upside, right? So here you are, you actually went above this particular level once and you failed. Great. The next time when you actually went through that level, the market was able to push higher because the sellers now understood like, okay, this is not a fake out. Buyers are coming back at it. Let us step out. That's the way I understand things. Then, if you actually look at this particular level, you'll actually see by the time you reach there, you're getting resisted. If you actually manage to break that, now you start a run to the upside. And that is historically true. Whether it's XRP BTC, whether it's XRP USD, you can actually observe that as something valid in the market. Now, on a weekly, while you zoom in, you're like, okay, the candle which I'm observing right now is not that interesting. It actually shows the possibility of a push to the downside, right? That means if this candle closes like this, that can push the price to the downside, maybe towards 0.48, maybe towards 0.46, whatever, that's still in the range. But we really want to see how this weekly candle ends. That is super important for the price action side of things. Now, yes, we all understand after being in such a trading range for such a long duration, usually what follows is a violent move. Whether to the upside or to the downside, it happens and it is going to be happening with higher level of momentum. If you go back, look at this particular range where we have traded before and ranged. It was around 54 days. Then you went violently to the downside. So imagine Ether actually starts to drop around 1550 and then it reaches the bottom around 1350. So that huge move on the short term did create some panic in the market. So for us, while looking at the price action, it is important to actually understand the narrative, understand the support resistance level and the trend line support. If you are actually just going towards the trend line and you are about to bounce off, that for me is like, okay, that is fine. You're just coming back to the trend line. Consider that as the support range where a lot of buy orders would actually kick in. That still is a major possibility, but that is on a daily chart. Now you zoom out and you say like, okay, I want to actually see the worst case scenario as well as the best case scenario. So here goes the worst case scenario. You can, if you drop that particular level, now you can actually come back down somewhere close to this particular level, which is like 1550. That is still healthy because you're trending to the upside, and that's going to create a lot of buying opportunities here in the market. Yeah, anyone who bought at this range, they won't like that, but that is also a big possibility in the market which we cannot deny. Now take the same concept into Bitcoin, then into XRP, and whichever picture you want to look at. On the weekly, what we are watching right now in Bitcoin, just turn that into a line chart, is clear. It is trending to the downside. It is trending to the downside. You're making lower highs consistently, putting in lower lows. So there is no denying the fact that we haven't actually done a big move to the upside to create a higher high. But what's positive about this? Short term, yes, it does show you there is a possibility that we are going to drop. And in long term scenario, you do understand that once the price drops, those who are saying, okay, this is a little bit overpriced, I'll buy this asset when it cools off, will actually be attracted to buy this asset. But historically speaking, we have seen this asset coming back to this 21-day moving average on a weekly and bouncing back up. So we need to actually see how things evolve And if the price decides to bounce and break through 27K, okay, that now means you are trying to put in a new high, which is going to be a higher high here. And most likely you're going to travel all the way up to $45,000 in Bitcoin. So while we talk about XRP and say, okay, this is going to stand up against Bitcoin, that means you have to move in terms of price action. So on the macro, this is how XRP price looks like. This month, there's a long way to go, but the month which we got in terms of the candle close does show you the possibility that you are about to take off. Now, you may get 1 month of slowdown and then a break through the moving average, but what I would like to ask you guys is like, how many times have we actually broken this moving average, retested and bounced, and then faked out? We can actually literally go back and see like this time you broke to the upside, you came back, but the retest didn't hold. It broke to the downside immediately. Great. Now, at the same time, when you observe this range, this is one of the reasons why we've been talking about this range for like months. You broke to the upside, you came back down, you held the 20-day moving average, or in other terms, price-wise correction happened, time-wise correction happened, and then you went off. Now, here, if you actually observe this, yeah, last time when you actually went up, you came back down immediately, breaking through the 21-day moving average, then going up and retesting it and getting rejected. So that was like, okay, I'm going further to the downside. Then we went close to 0.3. Now here we are, we broke to the upside, we came back to the moving average, we bounced off. So if you have a big doubt of whether we have more chances to go up or to the downside, now I hope that actually clears your thought process. 1. 2, we all know that this trend line has been broken. We retested that and we are trying to bounce off. So as soon as we take this particular level of support resistance off, the market is going to decide that, okay, that's it, I'm about to take off. I'm tired of this slow motion action and I'm tired of spending the time here in accumulation. And that's only for the smart money. That's only for those who can think and anticipate the future price action after this long of a consolidation. Because when you actually look at the RSI, you're not actually looking at the RSI and saying like, okay, I'm trending to the downside. You're looking at the RSI and saying, okay, that is trending to the upside. It is not actually going to the downside. Then you go on to the monthly in terms of the strength index. And what you observe is the fact that, okay, we are actually breaking this stuff to the upside and we retested that and we are trying to bounce off. Now, if you have big doubts in that scenario, you can go on to the macro charts. And historically, what you see is like, okay, there is a huge possibility when you go about this, retest and bounce, you may continue further to the upside. So given the fact that the market is low and even the competing assets like say XLM is actually showing yield, now it hasn't started a big run to the upside. Maybe it's going to come back down to test the previous bottom. That means XRP is one of those assets in the market which actually is running up against Bitcoin. That is actually great in my opinion. Now, this can actually be an accumulation range for sure. This can actually be an accumulation in a way that we are watching how things are evolving. We are watching how the RSI, the strength is developing. So now you actually, if you have a doubt, you can actually put that against Bitcoin and see how things are moving. When XRP is moving against Bitcoin to the upside, XLM is failing to do that. So we are actually watching that, yes, we are literally getting a divergence where the price action suggests that bulls are entering this market, but we may still test the lows again. So that means one of the best assets in the market, which you have right now, is XRP. Now, when I say that, don't think that's because I'm an XRP maximalist. No, we are actually literally going through hundreds of assets each week, looking at the short term, medium term, macro, everything possible to understand how things are evolving. There are opportunities. I 100% agree. There is a lot of opportunities evolving in the medium cap, in the micro cap, in the small cap. But you need to first make sure you understand the project. Then you understand that those projects have enough liquidity. You're not going for projects with less than $10,000 in 24-hour trading volume. You're looking for something about $20 million, $50 million, where you get comfortable like, okay, that's fine. I can deal with these level of risk. I can actually deal with this. Fine, the project sounds good. It has enough liquidity. You get comfortable, right? So that's the narrative. So if you are interested in that, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. And I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.